All right, Janelle. Well, this will be fun to go through because I know in your book, you actually reference the Ziglar Wheel of Life and go through this. So you are well versed here. So I'm eager to hear what's happening. We'll start off with the physical one. And I put physical and nutrition. What are the things that you want for yourself here? And then how are you walking them out with your daily habits?
Okay, well, thanks for asking. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree that we need to have this holistic approach to our lives, and focusing on these life areas is really important part of being optimum performers. So as far as the physical side, I really focus on nutrition, exercise, and sleep. One of the things that I have struggled a lot with off and on in my life is sleep. And so that's definitely been a high focus for me. I had a period in my life where I really struggled with insomnia, and finally came to the point of I just can't function. I was foggy during the day and tired. I didn't have the energy that I wanted. And you have to have all three of those components: nutrition and exercise and sleep. And sleep for me really became the most important, and I made the decision that I was going to fix it. And I started with a sleep log, with really recording my sleep habits. And I'm extremely disciplined about my morning and evening routine,
Yeah.
that I have good bookends to both sides of the day, and I'm getting myself to bed on time, and getting good sleep every night. And that has made all the difference for me. My husband's a chef, and he's also an athlete. And so he's with all the Ironmans and different marathons and things that he's doing. He really has always focused on clean eating, and got my girls and I doing the same. So we work to eat whole foods, not a lot of processed foods, and just making sure that we're fueling ourselves with good food. And then of course exercise. I exercise just about every day, 5 to 6 days a week for sure. Getting outside anytime we can. It's great in the Northwest. It's pretty mild year round where I live, and so we get outside a lot and do outdoor activities and get that exercise in.
Do
So
you
it
have
certainly works
do
for
you
me.
have a goal? Like, what is a physical wellness goal or avatar, or any kind of a level, saying I want to be at this place, or I want to be at this place at this age, anything like that?
Well, really, it's just an overall, I want to feel my best and have just a lot of great energy
Yeah.
for the rest of my life. I don't want to be in a place where as I'm aging, that my body's aging along into a place where I'm unable to be active anymore. So I want to take the best care of myself so that I can have optimum performance in my work. I plan to be working and giving back all of my life, and to be able to give my best to my family, my kids and my grandkids, for the rest of my life. And then when it's my time to go, I go out with a bang.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Second spoke, family and friends, relationships. So again, what are some of the goals there and some of the things you're doing consistently?
Oh, thank you. Well, the goals is to make sure that I keep my family, which is a top priority to me, that top priority. And often it's to keep that habit is it's actually scheduling things in my calendar where I'm getting one-on-one time with my kids, date nights with my husband, those close friendships in my life, making time for them, and realizing that I can't take for granted the relationships in my life. If we want them to be better, we need to invest in those relationships. And something that I have worked on over the years is taking out of my life those relationships that are unhealthy ones, that are not feeding positivity. And so that's something I definitely coach on a lot, is evaluate the top people that you're spending the most time with, and are they ones that are lifting you up, that have your back, that are taking you forward. And so I've made changes in my life sometimes when someone has not been a positive life building influence.
Yeah. All right. Mental is the third spoke, as you know. What are you doing habitually for your mental wellness health edge?
Mm, such an important one. Mental health and mindfulness. important. And mindfulness and incorporating that practice into my life has been really life-changing for me. So every morning is part of my morning success ritual. I take, about 10 minutes to be doing a meditation, and that makes a big difference. Actually, just taking the time to quiet my mind down completely, letting the thoughts go and not doing anything else, just letting those thoughts come and go. And it's
Yeah.
amazing what a difference that makes in my mindset.
Yeah. That's
So
one
that's been good.
we keep hearing more and more and more about. Is there any specific tool resource that you use for that? Or is it just just a quiet time?
I use a variety of things. There's a couple good apps out there that I've used. Headspace is one. Muse is now a new biofeedback tool that both my husband Graham and I use and find a lot of value from the biofeedback. It actually, the birds sing when you're getting your mind to quiet down. And when I first did it and I thought I was calm and the birds were not singing, my mind wasn't calm. And it gives you these cues, and you can actually train your brain to be calm and silence it. So that's really great. And then just spending time in quiet with just my journal in front of me without anything, where I can just allow my thoughts to go on paper. I spend time in prayer, devotions, and that all helps.
Financial's the next one. And as folks who heard us in the first show talked about, of course, you started this business, and I imagine your goals have changed. But even I didn't ask that necessarily. When you first started, were there early on some specific, financial goals that you had, and even today that you may have? I'm sure they've morphed. And then, of course, what were the things you put in place to achieve those?
Sure. Well, having financial success is the means to sustain your mission. So whatever it is, making smart financial decisions helps sustain your mission. So whether it's building a business, making a profit is how you continue to build the business and serve people. So having a plan for that is important, and I've done that through having a budget process, regular review and checks, and then the same thing personally. I mean, if you're making good, sound financial decisions and you have for your future, then that isn't something that you're worrying about all the time. And a lot of people worry about their finances. They lay awake at night worrying about their finances. And that is just something with creating a budget, living within your means, being really clear on what your own financial goals are and making a plan to get there. It can take that worry away. And that's not something that I worry about because of having a good financial plan in place.
Yeah. Spiritual is number 5, the next one here. And it's always an interesting one for me to think of as far as goals. It's interesting because I think that that's one that I have not normally had a goal spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been interesting during these habit shows to talk about that because, well, you shoot on that, because that's one where I know my spiritual habits, but as a goal, I think I've continued to kind of ruminate on that one. It's an interesting one to think of.
Right, it is. Uh, I have really an ongoing goal with that, and that is that everything that I'm doing, I want to make sure is aligned with my life's purpose. So when I think of
Yeah.
myself and how I'm doing spiritually and the goals that I'm setting, is just making sure that every day I'm growing in that relationship, and that I'm constantly, the new things that I'm taking on, it is in the center of God's will. Um, so I just want to continue to be more and more like Christ every day. And that's not going to happen until we get to heaven with him, but it's something we can continue to strive for.
Yeah.
And so thankful for the grace we have every day.
Yes. Yes. Career is the next one. And, with your business, and you shared in the first show, 500 plus employees, I think, is there a specific, for your business? I'll ask that. Is there a specific goal that you have in mind for yourself right now? I'd be interested to hear that one. But then what are the things you've been doing? As you talked about also, you're now writing and doing some other things. You had other businesses. What are some of the habits or perspectives you have in place just to keep your career in the place that you want it to be? Because I'm sure you have a lot of opportunities, a lot of options to diversify if you wanted to.
Sure. Well, my main focus right now is legacy leader and growing the mission of that company.
Mhm.
I've been able to set up MSNW as a company that is operating without me having to be involved in the day-to-day management of it. And we're continuing to grow and to drive that company forward to penetrate the areas that we're servicing and continuing to grow, and we have some growth goals there. For myself in legacy leader, we this is brand new in the last few years
Mhm.
that I've actually had the time to make this a pursuit with the Success Live book coming out, and I have a couple of other books in the works that I'm working on, and of course, just being able to help other business leaders grow and meet their potential is my goal. So to be able to continue to grow that avenue
Yeah.
is what I'm looking forward to.
Last one, personal. You know, this spoke, but I generally have historically talked about, what are the things you do for play, for fun, for you, but also, self-care, however you term it, the things that you do just for Janelle. Tell us about that.
Yes, well, it's so important to spend time in self care. And I think that's something that many of us struggle with. And I
Mhm.
know at times in my life, especially in raising my family, that everything was about making sure my kids were okay, that they had everything that they needed, that my team members at work had everything they needed. And I forgot to put myself in there. I put myself in the back
Yeah.
seat. So I really turned that around to making sure that I'm taking good care of myself. And we talked about the physical aspect, of course, which is really important. The mental aspect is, really working on my mental well-being is important. And what really fuels me up is spending time with my family, with friends. We love to be active. My husband and I and our family love boating.
Mm.
We love to get out on the water. We live near the ocean, so we try to get out in the San Juan Islands whenever we can. And that really fills us up just to be outdoors in nature. So that's been a lot of fun for us.
Yeah. Did I see kayaking in somewhere? You guys do that?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, we do kayaking, paddleboard, boating.
Yeah.
We're in God's country here in the Pacific Northwest for sure. We can get all of that right outside our doors.
Beautiful. Love it. Well, hey, thank you for just a behind the scenes, look into what you're doing day in and day out. And yeah, I love seeing that this was in your book, specifically going through these spokes. And you mentioned, I think multiple times in our first interview, just the holistic approach to our success. So thanks for sharing with us, being with us again, Janelle.
You bet. Wishing everybody to go live their best life.
Absolutely.